ನಿಮಿಷ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ MA ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು, ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ IA ನಂಬರ್ 4
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬೋತ್ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬೋತ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್.
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವ್ದು
ಅದಾಗದಿರ
ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ sir.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ್ದು IA ನಂಬರ್ 3 ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಇದೆ.
ಸರ್ 4
ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್.
ಅಲ್ಲ
ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ, 3 ಸಲ ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ.
ಯಾಕೆ
ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ.
ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್, ಸೂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ.
Putting up of barbed wire fence is
No, don't worry. Let
ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್
the
ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಇನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನೇ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ದು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಒಂದೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್.
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳೋದು
ತಂತಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್.
They are not obstructing the way of this plaintiffs, my lord.
ಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹತ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಅವರು?
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಾವು
that is the finding of the trial court that it has been done.
You put up a fence and you're sitting on the fence. How will he come?
Barbed fence surrounding the my property only. Written statement, scheduled property. We never encroached an inch of property of this plaintiffs. They made certain allegations.
Let the trial court appoint a commissioner.
Trial court is of the opinion, my lord.
Let the trial court.
Say suit for declaration and injunction. My lord, the court was pleased to grant an order of status quo directing the parties to maintain status quo in respect of the property. When the matter was heard and reserved for judgment,
Where?
the order before the trial court. Trial court. When the matter was heard and reserved for orders on the application for injunction, the defendant, my lord, put up a barbed wire fence so that, my lord, I am obstructed from going to my property which is located on the hind side.
I have recorded that.
Yes, my lord, now I am
Yes sir.
blocked.
You said fence ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್.
They are not obstructing the way of this plaintiffs, my lord.
ಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹತ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಅವರು?
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಾವು
That is the finding of the trial court that it has been done.
You put up a fence and you're sitting on the fence. How will he come?
Barbed fence surrounding the my property only. Written statement, scheduled property. We never encroached an inch of property of this plaintiffs. They made certain allegations.
Let the trial court appoint a commissioner.
Trial court is of the opinion, my lord.
Let the trial court appoint a commissioner.
ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ, 3 ಸಲ ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ.
ಯಾಕೆ
ಸರ್ವೆ ಆಗದೆ.
ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್, ಸೂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ.
Putting up of barbed wire fence is
No, don't worry.
ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಇನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನೇ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ದು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಒಂದೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್.
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಟ್ರಯಲ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳೋದು
ತಂತಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ MA ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು, ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ IA ನಂಬರ್ 4
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬೋತ್ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬೋತ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್.
ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವ್ದು
ಅದಾಗದಿರ
ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ್ದು IA ನಂಬರ್ 3 ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಇದೆ.
ಸರ್ 4 ಸರ್.
IA ನಂಬರ್ 2 and 3.
ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್
Anyway, we'll send it before. ನೀವು ಸೂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಿಲ್ಸಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. You are under 227 ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ.
Yes.
2 and 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಇದೆ.
The petitioner is before this court seeking the following prayer. The allegation of the petitioner was that in the garb of grant of new defendant,
Now plaintiff.
in the garb of an injunction of the suit scheduled property in favor granted in favor of the defendant.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಬ್ರಿಗೂ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ.
ನಮ್ದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್.
ಇಬ್ರಿಗುನಾ? The learned counsel for the petitioner submits that on the garb of or in the taking advantage of the status quo order that is granted by the concerned court.
ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ quo order was passed before the matter was after the matter was reserved for orders, they have put up the barbed wire fence. Order ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Matter reserve ಆಗಿತ್ತಾ?
matter reserve ಆಗಿತ್ತು.
The petitioner is the plaintiff institutes OS 475/2024 seeking injunction against the respondent. The matter is the concerned court had granted an order of status quo. The status quo order was in subsistence throughout. The matter was heard and reserved for its orders. The
Status quo order ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು, when the matter was reserved for orders, they put up the barbed wire fence.
Yes. I will sit on the fence. Yes. ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಬೈ? ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, the matter was heard and reserved for orders. The status quo ಯಾವಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ?
18 to 25
ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಯಾವತ್ತು?
ರಿಸರ್ವ್ 31st ಗೆ.
The matter was heard and reserved for orders on 31/1/2025. It transpires that later an order of status quo was passed on the score that the, during the between the dates of the matter being reserved and the order of status quo being granted, the respondent had put up a barbed wire. It is, but illak bandre?
We filed an application seeking.
An application was then filed for removal of the barbed wire, which comes to be rejected. Rejection of which has driven the petitioner to this court in the subject petition. The learned subject petition. The learned counsel for the respondent defendant submits that the fencing is done only to the written statement scheduled property and not an inch of the property of the petitioner or the plain scheduled property is touched. In the light of the said what the learned counsel for the petitioner would dispute the position, as he is now in a position that he cannot enter his own property due to the barbed wire that is placed. In that light, it would be open to the concerned court to appoint a court commissioner to inspect the property and draw up a report with regard to the fence, the encroachment by putting up of the fence by either of the parties in either of the suit schedule or the written statement schedule property, for which purpose the present petition need not be detained before this court. For the aforesaid reasons, the following order. The writ petition stands disposed, notwithstanding the rejection of the application, notwithstanding the impugned order, the concerned court shall now appoint a commissioner seeking to draw up a report with regard to the allegations and contra allegations of both the plaintiff and the defendant, and pass necessary orders after the receipt of the report from the hands of the concerned commissioner. Ordered accordingly. The petitioner is at ಏನ್ ಟೈಮ್
ಅಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್
injunction ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ
In the light of the fact that judgment was the matter was already reserved for its judgment, after the receipt of the report of the commissioner, the concerned court shall endeavor to conclude the proceedings within 2 months thereafter.
One request, please. Take the documents which are relied by the both the parties should be considered.
In accordance with law ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನೆ.
Srikant my property in.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ.
61. Suit for partition